Hey, we've got some classic comedies to talk about with the folks from the Theater Guild, and they're going to be doing a fun radio show with Foley. I'm excited about that. I want to welcome to the program Eva Marie Alexander and Bob Matanti. Thank you guys for joining us.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah. So who had the idea for this? Hey, let's do a radio show. Let's do some classic skits. And where
well,
did
you
it come
know,
from?
the Theater Guild, we have a programming committee, and a bunch of us get together and we sit around. We hash out ideas every time we have a show. Like we had a big Christmas show last year, and that was a lot of fun. But then we start looking at the year, and we came up with this idea about having a radio show, but modernizing it with some TV shows that people would recognize. So it's kind of a lot of fun that way.
Okay, and it's going to be September 19th, Thursday at Clubhouse 5, and you guys are presenting, it's a Cavalcade of Comedy.
That's right.
Now, Eva, what are you going to be doing? Are you going to be one of the performers?
I'm part of the producer team. We have Barbara and Catherine and myself, so we're working in the background. And rehearsals have been a lot of fun. The directors have met with their teams. There are 33 actors and 5 directors, and then the Foleys. And you, Bob, you're going to be talking about the Foleys. They're exciting. So I know there's a lot of camaraderie, and actors have been just so excited, and directors too. And what we have this time also, we have understudies, and we're just so happy, and we see how understudies are just so happy to be part of it too, because you never know, right? You want to be prepared.
Break a leg could actually happen.
There you go. Actually, that's true. So it's a lot of fun, and one of the shows has been sent over, actually written. The original script is by the director. It's Estelle Di Nunzio, and it's very funny. Everything is just hilarious, and I think it's going to be a great show.
Okay, so this is going to be like an old-timey radio show, and there's going to be Foley, which is kind of the background noise that radio shows used to have, people walking down the stairs, opening, closing a door. You know, you're a Foley expert because you watch some YouTube videos, right?
That's right. I told you earlier I'm an expert because I watched about 6 YouTube videos on Foley, so I know all about Foley now. So I'm like raring to go. But it is a lot of fun because you got to invent Foley. Foley takes a lot of imagination. So as the show progresses, and we have 5 distinctly different eras, different shows, but you have sound effects like somebody falling downstairs, or somebody running across the room, or a doorbell ringing, all these different Foleys. And our Foleys, we have 4 Foley people on stage who will be performing this as the acts go on.
Okay. Now, some of the shows, you have a spoof on Star Trek, you have an All in a Family, you have a Dragnet. As the Stomach Turns, is that the Carol Burnett skit?
Yes.
Yes, okay. And then Saint Nowhere, is that the original?
That's the original.
That's the original,
yes.
Okay. So you got 5, and then Star Trek and then Dragnet. I mean, you got a wide range of Foley sounds you guys have to have covered.
Absolutely. And I'm lucky enough to be in the Star Trek cast. I play Captain Kirk, by the way.
Oh, look at this.
And
we should have got you a better chair.
But beam me up, Scotty. No, but it's a different take on Star Trek. It's one you've never seen before.
Okay.
It's kind of fun. This is what happens to the characters some years after Star Trek. I'm not going to give it away. You have to come see it.
Okay, all right.
But it's a lot of fun.
All right, sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. And it's all spoofing and good fun, right? All of them are spoofs, right?
Yes.
Right. So it's just a night of comedy, which I think is kind of fun for folks, right? To come in there and just have a good laugh. Is that what you really wanted to focus on with this whole show? Is just give people a good laugh? Absolutely.
And I think a lot of what it is the Theater Guild itself. We're like a family, and that's why I always encourage people, if you're not quite there and say, I don't want to get on stage. There's so much goes on behind the scenes, and we are like a family. So once you join, once you get past that, like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go down to the Theater Guild. They're really nice folks, and we have so many opportunities for people in different parts of the Guild. So it's just a lot of fun. And I think that's a lot of what we do is to keep people involved. And that's what we have a lot of actors. Like in this case, we have 33 participants, and that's just the actors, not to mention those backstage people, the Foley people, the directors. It's a lot of fun. It really is.
Now, Eva Marie, as you've been putting this together and helping coordinate everything, what do you hope the audience gets out of this? What's the goal we want the audience to experience what?
Well, they want to experience, it's a different epoch, a different time. It's the end, actually, of radio as the industry transition to television. And so it's one of the last shows, or the last show in the radio world in the old-fashioned way, and then television came. So I think the transition, it's kind of interesting to take the new TV shows and put in into the old-fashioned radio shows. And it's just a reminder, maybe also how the entertainment industry has changed, and it's different acting. And when you just really rely as an actor on your voice, not necessarily on stage play. So it's a different emphasis.
Right. Yeah, and I was going to say for Star Trek, now there's not like it wasn't sci-fi on radio before, right? But for Star Trek, it was such a visual medium, and the effects and the creatures and the planets they would go to. So how did you have to like maybe alter that a little bit to make it interesting on radio, because you don't have those visuals?
Well, part of the visuals was the Foley, because if you notice in Star Trek, a lot of what they did, there's always be that sound going on, the sound of a door opening, the sound of the communicator, all these different sounds. We have those. So we compensate for what you don't see, because the sounds are so iconic. Once you hear the sound of the communicator, you know it's the communicator.
You do, right. And the doors open of the doors.
Yes.
And the beam me down kind of the transporters.
That's where the Foley stuff, we even talking to the computer. We have a scene where you're talking to the computer and the computer answers you back. All that iconic stuff from Star Trek is in this place. So it's a lot of fun putting this whole together and making it interesting like that.
Now, Eva Marie, if I'm listening to a radio show, I have to make up the scenery. I have to make up the whole world, just like if I'm reading a book and someone's describing it, right? And so do you think that makes a different experience for each individual audience member of how they're imagining it and as they're creating that world?
There's a little bit of visual. I mean, there's a lot to see on stage.
Sure.
It's not just that you see the person. But yes, I mean, the voice should carry and make up for whatever you normally have on stage. So it's a different experience. One fun part we should mention, we had to find leather shoes to make the sound of a shoe, because we all have rubber soles nowadays. It's kind of funny.
Well, I was working with the Foley people, and we developed a lot of the sounds. You have to play with different, you try this and try that till you get it just about where you want it, and then you change it again, because you want to get it perfect.
Well, let's see how it turned out. It's Cavalcade of Comedy. It's going to be Thursday the 19th, Clubhouse 5. Members are free, guests $10, and doors open at 6:30. The show begins at 7. Tom and Eva Marie, thank you very much from the Theater Guild for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us, and we hope to see everybody there.
Yes.
They will be. And folks got to see a lot of stuff going on at the 60th anniversary yesterday, and we have one more video to show you before we go.